Hello, good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to apologize for posting late. I had some personal stuff, so I had to go out for 2 weeks, and unfortunately, I will be out next week as well. But hopefully, after that, I'll be posting every week. Now, that being said, I decided to bring a topic that is extremely important and at the same time that's extremely easy, which is managing cloud resources. This is something that's extremely important, extremely wanted by companies. So we're going to learn a new tool and we're also going to use ChatGPT. There will be almost no text as long as you know what you're doing. Managing cloud resources is going to be easy. Now we're basically going to create a very simple resource and then we are going to delete that resource. Yeah. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So when it comes to managing cloud resources, you can use a lot of tools, but one of the best tools that are used by companies and something that I actually really recommend is to use a tool called Terraform. In our example for this video, I'm going to use Google Cloud because I'm really familiar with it, but you are free to use many other cloud providers like AWS, for example, and use Terraform with it. So here, as you can see, this is the link on how to download Terraform. There are like a lot of options and you can then run the commands and then install Terraform. Now I already have Terraform installed, but I will post this link in the description in case you want to follow up with this tutorial. Now that is the first thing that you need to do. The second thing is you need to create a new project, whether that was in Google Cloud or AWS. But for that, you need to create a new account. Now, I'm not going to go much details on creating the account. I will speak about Google Cloud for now. But the reason why I'm not going to show how to create an account is because you would need to insert your billing information. Now, that being said, whatever resource that I'm going to create today is going to be completely free. I'm going to create a bucket in cloud storage. And this is a link that shows from Google Cloud which services are free for which storage or number of units, etc. So just be careful. Yes, you will have to insert your billing information and all that stuff, but whatever we're going to do today is going to be completely free. Yeah. So what you would need to do is create a new Gmail account, and then you would need to go to console.cloud.google.com, and this is where you're going to be creating the Google Cloud project. I'm going to create a new project. I'll call this YouTube for now, and I'll just click create. Usually it's extremely fast. It doesn't take much time. It's already done. I'm going to click select project. And I already have the Terraform installed, and this is the installation page. And now we're going to go into ChatGPT, and I'm going to do something that's extremely simple, which is creating a cloud storage bucket. So if I went back to the new project and I went to cloud storage, you will see that it's completely empty. But now we are going to create a new one, and then we're going to delete a new one using Terraform. And in order to do this using Terraform, you have two ways. One way is to go to Google. That's, in my opinion, the easiest way, and just type what you want. Like, for example, you can say Terraform Cloud Storage, or if you want to deploy a new service, or you want to deal with a big query, etc., you would type in the search box what you need, and usually in the Google search box, you will see the result that you would want to find in the first or the second page, the first or the second result. But I'm going to use ChatGPT because it's going to be much faster for our use case. That being said, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, can you create a Terraform script that creates a Google Cloud Storage bucket. I'm going to hit enter, and as you can see, it responded extremely quickly, and this is much faster way to do it. Now you can provide a lot of like customization to it, but for now, just for simplicity, we ask it to create a standard one. But if you want more details, you can ask ChatGPT for those details. Now it already gave us a response. It gave us some sort of code, and it told us exactly how to replace those values. And it says save the script to a terraform file, navigate to the directory where the file is saved, and then run the following commands. So let's do that. I will go to the terminal, and I'm going to create a new file which must end in tf. Here it gives us an example, create bucket.tf, which makes sense because that's exactly what we are doing. So let's create that. I'm going to paste the code, and here we need to fill out some information, which is the path to service account JSON, the project ID, the desired region, the bucket name, and the desired location. Now I'm going to skip the credentials for now because I'm going to assume that I don't know what that is. And then let's go to the project ID. Now the project ID is going to be, if you go to the drop down, you will see this ID column. And then I'm going to copy the project ID from there. And I'm going to paste that. And then when it comes to the desired regions, there's a lot of regions that we can use, but we want to use a region that is free. So I will go back to the Google Cloud free tier page. And if I scroll down to the cloud storage, it says free tier only on US East, US West, and US Central 1. I'm going to pick US Central 1 because it's closest to my region. So let's do that. And now it says to give the bucket a name. Now, if you are familiar with buckets, whether you came from AWS or from Google Cloud, they have to be unique. They have to be globally unique. So I'm going to write some random letters, hopefully that no one took that before me. Okay, this is just some random letters and some random numbers. When it comes to the desired location, again, I'm going to say, actually, I don't know what the location exactly is, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT about that. I'm also going to ask ChatGPT about what is this credentials and where to fetch that from. So let's go back to ChatGPT and ask it what. Actually, I was just about to ask it, and then I found this answer here that says the desired location for your bucket example US. And this is exactly where I want my bucket to be. But let's assume that ChatGPT didn't provide that information. I'm just going to ask, what are the example values of the desired location? And as you can see, it gave us a lot of options, which is really nice. Now let's ask it something else, which is, it tells us path to the service account JSON. How to get this JSON file, right? Because that's the only thing that's left. So if we read the ChatGPT description, let's scroll up, and as you can see, it's extremely fast. It says go to the console.cloud.google.com. We are already there. Step number 2, select your desired project. We are already there. In the sidebar, navigate to the IAM and the admin section, and then go to the service accounts. So if I went to IAM, and then you will go to service accounts, we're basically following the instructions. Right now, this is completely empty. Let's go back. Step number 4, find the service account you want or use or create a new one by clicking on create service account. Okay, so let's create a new one. Let's go back. Give the service account a name and optional description, then click on create. Yeah, name this, and it gave us the service account ID. Description is optional. I'm going to just skip it and click create and continue. And then it says on the service account permissions tab, you can assign the necessary rules to the service account based on the specific permissions that you need. Now, what is the permission that I need though? I'm going to ask ChatGPT about that, but then it says give the grant user access to the service account if it's not needed, and then click. Okay, so before we go to the rest of the steps, I want to know what is the permission that is needed. What is the permission that the service account needs in order to create and destroy the cloud storage bucket? And here now it gave us an adjusted answer, and it told us that the permission is called storage admin. So let's go back to this page and let's pick storage admin. So this should be under cloud storage and then storage admin. I will click continue. Grant user access to the service account. If I remember correctly, it said we can just ignore that. If I went up, it says skip the grant user access to service account if it's not needed. So I'm going to skip that. I'm going to click done. So now the service account is created, but that's not the end of the story. Let's read the rest of the steps. It says on the create key step, click on create key and select the JSON key type. So it mentions something about um, creating a key, but I am not able to find that. So let's ask ChatGPT. I was not able to find a create key option after creating the service account. Let's see what ChatGPT is going to answer about that. And now it gave us an updated answer. And if I scroll up, let's follow the steps. All these steps seem very similar, but look at step number 8 now. Once the service account is created, locate the service account list and click on the three dots under the action menu. So let's go back here. This is the action menu, and these are the three dots. And now we can see the manage keys. So let's click on that one. And let's click on add keys. Now, obviously, we can go to ChatGPT and leave the exact words, but like by common sense, this is exactly what we need to do. So add key, create a new key, and now we are seeing two options, JSON and P12. I'm going to guess it's JSON because that's the naming convention that I've seen. And here, if you can see at number 12, it says click the JSON create tab and then create to generate a JSON file containing the credentials, and then download the JSON file to a secured location on your machine. So let's do that. I'm going to click create, and now the file is downloaded. So this is the home page. This is the download where it was downloaded. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go to Linux because I'm inside there, home, and this is my user ID, and I'm going to save it there. Yeah, now that it's there, for now I'm going to save this file, or actually what I can do is let's copy the full file name, and let's go back to the file that I was trying to create. And as you can see, this should be correct because I put the JSON file in the same place where I'm going to save this terraform file. But if the JSON file was somewhere else, you need to provide the full path, obviously. Now, that being said, Everything looks good. I'm going to save this. And if I went back to the original steps all the way up, it said after I fill out all this information and save the file, it says run the following commands: terraform init, and then run terraform apply. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to run terraform init. And now after that, I'm going to run terraform apply. And here there is something very nice about terraform. It tells you exactly what it's going to do and before it does it, so that you are fully aware of what you're going to do, because this is extremely important. Like, you can do a lot of bad things if you don't know what you're doing. So it's very important to actually read your changes before applying them. Now here it shows that I'm creating a new bucket, and it shows you these attributes. Now obviously you can customize them more based on your needs, but everything looks good to me. So I'm going to click yes. And it says apply completed, resource added. So let's go back to the cloud storage page. So now as you can see that the bucket was created under this random name that I generated, and the location was US, so everything looks good. So that's when it comes to creating the resource, but we don't want to keep this resource just in order to avoid paying any money by mistake. So let's try to delete this resource for now. So let's go back to ChatGPT. How can I delete? How can I delete the cloud storage bucket that I just created? And now it's going to respond. It says you can modify the existing Terraform script or create a new one with the following configurations. Okay. So let's do that. So this looks the same. There are some slight differences there, and there is I am binding. Say save this script to a Terraform using delete bucket. Okay. So let's say that I don't want to create a new file. So I'm going to ask it, how can I modify the existing Terraform script? And I'm going to mention it, create bucket.tf to destroy the bucket. Because I don't want to keep modifying and adding new things. I just wanted to destroy the bucket completely. Okay. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to see if that is going to work. So let's go back here and let's go to the Terraform file. So the first part looks the same. The second part, there are some additional codes, so I'm going to add that as well. Okay. And let's add these lines. And here it's mentioning the Safe's account email, so I'm going to actually pick that from the Safe's account page. So I have to go to the IAM, and if I went to the service account, or I can just copy it from here. This is the email for the service account, and let's substitute that value. It says add a null resource to trigger bucket deletion. Okay, so everything looks good. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to run the same commands as it recommended, which is terraform init and terraform apply. And it gave us an error. So let's see what the exception is saying. Error running command this. Okay. So I'm going to provide that to ChatGPT. And let's see what it says. So here it says you need to check the GSUtil installation, ensure that GS is installed. I actually don't have it installed, so I'm certain that this is the exact reason why this failed. So I'm going to ask GPT, can I delete a bucket without having the GSUtil installed on my machine? Let's see what it's going to say. And here it says to delete the bucket, you can update the configurations as follow. Okay. And then it says run terraform init, but now it says terraform destroy as well. So that's the other way to do it. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of ways to do the same thing, but I keep chatting with ChatGPT in order to do it in the way that I am desiring. Okay, so let's go back and let's delete this section. And here, actually, I think this was not needed as well. I'm going to save this, terraform init. And now we're going to say terraform destroy. And I'm going to say yes. And it says destroy complete resource 3 destroyed. And the reason why it says 3 destroyed because I created 2 resources in the previous step. So now let's go back to the cloud storage. And this is the cloud storage. And as you can see, there is no bucket anymore in the Google Cloud Storage. So this is the tutorial. Now dealing with Terraform is actually much easier once you get used to it. But what we learn is a new tool, which is Terraform, how to manage resources using Terraform, how to ask ChatGPT to create the Terraform script for us, and how to ask it for certain values. And lastly, if we got any exceptions or we want to create those resources or modify them in a different way, we can always chat with ChatGPT in order to get that exact result that we want. So that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed and see you soon. Goodbye.